Who's first?
You want me to talk, or
Ryan,
have a question?
you talked several times about guys increasing, decreasing stock tournament-wise. Where was Sam before what he did for Wisconsin this year?
Well, I think he had a good year. His team had a very good year overall. Obviously, anytime you get to the national championship game, and I believe Wisconsin won the Big Ten Conference regular season title and the tournament title. So he had a good year, but he certainly rose to the occasion in the NCAA tournament. They had a terrific run. I mean, obviously, they were the only team who was able to beat Kentucky, and they had a tough road to the finals as well. I mean, I think their path was as difficult as any teams with the opponents they faced. So, he really elevated his game, elevated his play, and there's no question he helped himself. As far as stock going into the tournament, it's not something we really determined. He was a first-round candidate one way or another, but I think his performance in the last 5 or 6 games of the year in the tournament certainly helped.
His shooting, I mean, NBA range, how does it look versus the college stuff? I know it's always a question with these guys.
Yeah. He shoots it pretty easy. He's got high release, high arcing shot. He's obviously got good size and strength. He's about 6'9", so we like his versatility. He's able to step out to the three-point line and make shots behind the line, but he's also able to catch on swing passes and attack closeouts and get all the way to the basket and finish. Today he showed some nice things in transition. He's a pretty fluid athlete, so I think at times you don't realize quite how big he is until you see him go finish and dunk pretty easily on the break.
Brandon Ashley, how did he look today? What are your thoughts on him the last couple of years, watching him down the road?
Yeah, Brandon's very skilled. Good shooter at that size. Has a good feel for the game. He and Rakeem Christmas matched up for the most part today, although we crossed some of the matchups. So we had some good battles, some good positional battles. I think he has a true position in the NBA at the 4. That stretch 4 or kind of playmaking 4 is in vogue now. That's the way a lot of teams are playing with the floor spread. A guy who can shoot off the catch or can make a play. On a closeout or off the dribble. So he's able to do that, and I guess we did have a lot of local guys today. I hadn't thought of that, but he's a guy we've seen a lot. We scouted him a lot. We have scouts at their practices constantly. We have scouts at most of their games, especially the big games. So it was good to see him come in here today and acquit himself well.
Matt Verano's also a local guy too. He's been through quite the process to get to this point.
He has. Yeah. I was impressed when I saw his rebounding numbers for a guard. He's an athletic guy. He's strong. He came here and competed. He obviously bounced around a little bit in his college career, but for him to be able to come in and be versatile. He is traditional 2-guard, I guess, but with his strength and athleticism, he's able to guard some bigger guys on switches and things like that. So it was good to see him. We appreciate him coming in, and it's always good to have local guys in the mix.
How do you look at Decker's shot? It looks very fluid, but he didn't really hit a high percentage of threes during the season.
I think over the course of his career, he shot about 35%, which is fine. It's solid. He obviously projects some improvement for a guy his age who's going to put the work in and the time in, and he doesn't have anything fundamentally wrong with his shot. So he's big enough to shoot it. He's strong enough to shoot it. He'll get it off against most defenders. He has the ability to handle the ball and kind of attack a defender off the dribble to get the guy retreating, and then with his size and athleticism, just raise up and shoot over the top. So he did that a few times today in some of the one-on-one action, and looked pretty easy and fluid, and something that projects well to the NBA.
Is he a guy that can slide between 2 or 3 different positions because of his size and his skill?
I think probably 2. I think playing him at the shooting guard or obviously center would be a stretch, but I can see him playing some power forward or some small forward. I think that should be a pretty easy transition with his size and as strong as I think he's going to be once he gets in the NBA workway program and with his athleticism.
Have you seen his ability to defend and rebound if he needed to play the 4 spot enough to make up for the shooting?
Well, again, I think he shoots the ball fine. I mean, his percentage, I guess this year wasn't great, but I think it's about 35% over the course of his career, which is, for a 6'9" athlete, pretty good. But yeah, I think he'll be able to defend 4s. The league is going more and more positionless. The 4 position is getting smaller at times. So if he had some strength, which he will in an NBA program, he's got the body to do it, the frame to do it. And I think he'll be able to guard most 4s. Some are tougher matchups. The Zach Randolphs of the world, and Blake Griffins are a little more powerful, but that's a challenge for 80% of the guys in the league.
When you go down to Tucson and see Miller's practices and players that have come up to train with you, what are some of the common characteristics of those players when you train them leading up to a draft?
They know what they're doing. You know, you can tell they've been well coached, especially on the defensive end of the floor. You know, they rotate properly, they hedge the right way, they switch at the right times. You know, and they're pretty competitive guys. You know, some of the guys come in, push themselves at varying degrees. We've had a good group this year. We haven't had many who, you know, I don't say quit, but didn't go as hard as they could have. But the Arizona guys are pretty tough. They're gritty. You can tell that watching their teams play. You know, when they come in here, again, they know how to play offensively and defensively, and you're able to throw some things at them on the fly. We try to mix up some of our drills, or Coach was even drawing up a few set plays today just to see how the guys are able to digest that information and execute on it. He certainly did very well on that.
Ryan, more underclassmen declared for the draft than there are slots in the draft, and Brandon Ashley is one of them. Has that become a thing in college where you really just can't stay all 4 years, or you kind of hurt your stock? It just seems like every year more and more underclassmen are coming out.
It's a good question. You know, with the way the rules are now, we don't have a whole lot of influence in that process. You know, we can't really interact with the guys until we get the official early entry list from the league. And nowadays, there really is no testing the waters. You know, by the NCAA rules, the guys are, once they put their name in, I think the deadline's in mid-April, you know, they're in. So, you know, that's challenging. You know, with certain players who probably wish they had more information, or were able to get more feedback from the teams before they make these decisions. But you know, it's certainly something. It's certainly not something that we hold against a guy that he stayed in college 4 years. Let's put it that way. You know, just thinking of guys in the NBA. You know, J.J. Redick, Doug McDermott last year. You know, they're guys who were able to stay 4 years and be lottery picks. So we don't certainly discount that. We understand why, especially some of the top guys come out early. But it's not something we, you know, penalize guys for, or take guys off the draft board once they reach a certain year or a certain age. You know, we evaluate them all the same.
You brought Will in for a reason. Will you hope that he sticks around, or how does that work now?
Yeah, it was a tough situation, and you know, we probably have to give Bo Barnes the MVP for today from ASU. We had Will Davis from UC Irvine in our group of 6 initially. He sprained an ankle doing a vertical testing drill, so we were down to 5 and had to kind of scramble. That's why we're a little late getting you guys down here. And so we called up Bo Barnes. He, you know, local kid, and I think he was in Scottsdale, and he said, "I'll be there in 30 minutes." So we appreciate him coming down. You know, we switched up some of the drills. We did some of the shooting and the one-on-one drills earlier, and let Bo get loose when he got down here, and then did the competitive 3-on-3 stuff at the end. So he showed himself well. I mean, we get 2 visits with these guys, so he's a guy we may bring back. But you know, I told the guys that there's a good lesson to be had there. Whether you're, you know, at the end of the bench or just sitting at home, always be ready. You know, stay in shape. So we just called him. I think when he woke up this morning, he probably had no idea that the phone was going to ring and say, "Hey, can you come down and work out for the Phoenix Suns?"
You guys had a lot of transitions this season. Any of the guys you saw today fit what you guys are looking for the draft?
Well, sure. I mean, you know, I think anytime you're a non-playoff team, you need multiple things, you know, and we had a couple 4-men in. You know, I guess Decker's more of a 3-4, but with Ashley and with Christmas, you know, guys who can, you know, score a little bit inside, but probably more stretch guys who can stretch the floor a little bit. That's something we're looking for. With, you know, Juwan Staten came in, who was extremely well conditioned. He guarded the ball well. And then Bo Barnes came in and made shots, you know, and Bejarano showed good athleticism and defense. So, you know, we have a number of needs. I mean, we're looking to address a number of areas via the draft and free agency. So this group showed themselves well, and, you know, I think there are a bunch of guys out here today who will get drafted at some point.
Get a chance to know.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.